All right, and welcome to episode 2 of the Final Whistle. Kyle, he's Mark. We are ready to go for another week of the pod. And before we start, we just want to give a big thank you to everybody that's listened, everybody that's commented, positive, negative. We really appreciate you guys. It's been a whirlwind of a week trying to get this set, get this going. But we've heard criticism, which is good criticism. We've heard positive feedback, and we love this. We love what you guys are doing and are listening, and we hope you guys stick around. So please, comment, subscribe, share if you see this new pod coming up today. But Mark, how you doing, my guy?
Man, we're doing great. Kind of like Kyle said, thanks for everybody that tuned in to episode 1. It was a long time in the making. Bunch of stuff already started to happen this week. Football's finally back, so I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I'm excited. I probably put in a better mood in my fucking internet. Mark, we've been on for a half hour trying to get this fucking set up, so here we are now. So hopefully it
Hey,
works.
we made it. That's all that matters.
I was in another spot, but hopefully next week I'll be back where I wanted to film. But so for now we're gonna be back up here. So what we got a lot to dive into. So we're gonna get right into it. A lot of breaking news that happened over the past literally couple days, starting Monday morning.
Yeah.
But we're gonna talk first about the college football AP poll that came out Monday morning. As the unanimous number one was Texas. They were number one, followed by
Of
Penn
course.
State at 2. Ohio State at 3, Clemson at 4, and Georgia round out the top 5. As you see on your screen, the poll all the way through 25. And I got to say, Mark, I am not, I don't know. There's some questionable up there. For one, Bama. I don't know why they're so high up there. They lost Jalen Milroe. They lost some of the picks. They only got Ryan Williams back. And they got a sophomore starting, but I think they're too high after losing to Michigan to end the season. And they started everybody. Remember that they started like their whole team, and
Yeah.
they got not, I would say, buried by Michigan, but Michigan beat them with nobody, with their JV team. So I don't,
Yeah.
I don't understand why. Well, I guess it's SEC bias, if you ask me.
I mean, yeah, I agree. And similar to what we talked about last week when we dove into Bama, I mean, there's no more saving players on that team. So outside of Bama being Bama, I don't really understand how they rolled in at number 8 to start off. I mean, I could see them being in the top 25. They're always going to be a good team, but 8 is pretty high to me, especially when you have teams
Agreed.
like LSU right behind them. You have even teams like South Carolina, Arizona State right behind them, Illinois, who everybody's really high on, even Florida, which is in the same conference
Yeah.
that looks better on paper and whatever, and had a better recruiting class, in my opinion, than Bama did with DeBoer guys. So I thought they were a pretty big shock. Also, the other shock that I thought, and I know it's only one slot, but SMU being over Kansas State
Yeah. I don't.
after looking at last week, after breaking it all down, I mean, even just on this pod, but just other people in general, a lot of people are favoring Kansas State to win that conference, yet SMU is over them right now. Um and uh and that was pretty surprising to me, just based off of projections and things like that. I was pretty interested to see SMU a slot over them, but Bama was definitely my biggest surprise.
Yeah, and to go off your thing about the paper thing, look, I get it. They're like, oh, with the recruits and NIL and the team they got coming back. That's one thing that kind of I don't understand. Like, for granted, Michigan, I think they're too high up because what happened last year? What they went 8? It was 8-5, and now you're at 14.
Yeah.
And okay, they should, keyword should, win week 1. Hopefully, not a problem. New Mexico should beat them, no problem. But then you got to go to Oklahoma, who's ranked number. Where are they at? They are number
They came in at
18.
18.
That ranked number 18, and if they lose like they did last year to Texas, here we go again. They're 1-1 going in, and then they got to go to Nebraska still. And Nebraska could be ranked by week 4, depending on how well they do in their first 3 non-conference games, because they start right off with Cincinnati. So, to go to your point, I don't know. I don't like on paper, because you go on paper, that means I don't know. Then Penn State should be one. They're the best team, I think, right now. If you're going off paper, not
I mean,
Texas.
I mean, yeah. If we're going if we're going on paper, returning players, things like that, Penn State naturally would be one. I actually don't mind where they put them at based off of um, Ohio State being um, as wishy-washy at quarterback. Lord only knows even who's going to win that battle right now. From what I hear, and reports again on Monday, it's going to be down to the wire, and they may be playing both quarterbacks potentially all the way up and into week one. So,
Right.
um, even Ohio State being at three with, I mean, granted, there's a 5-star quarterback in Sayin, and I believe Keynotes was a highly rated 4-star recruit. Plus, you have St. Clair, but whether in a quarterback battle, I don't understand, other than being the fact that they have a good team all around. Even Ohio State at three might be a little high. I actually, I defer with you on the Michigan portion of things. I think their transfers and the upside of Underwood, if he really comes in as good as you've seen.
I agree.
I think 14's honestly a good spot for them. Plus, their strength of schedule isn't crazy.
No,
Um, Especially when it comes to like an Ohio State schedule, a Georgia schedule, an Oregon schedule, something like that. I feel like their schedule also helps their ranking in the beginning based off of everything that's set right now at least.
which and maybe like the voters know stuff we don't know. We're just going off what we see and what we read and hear. And okay, Michigan 14. Okay, I mean, you know me, I'm a diehard Michigan fan. People watching know I'm a diehard Michigan fan, but I think they're too high. Tennessee, they shouldn't be in. They just lost their quarterback to UCLA. They got buried by Ohio State. They didn't even make.
They lost a lot of pieces to the NFL too. They lost that running back to the Browns even just took, like, they lost some key pieces.
Yeah, they lost. I don't know. Boise. Okay, I mean, who else you could put in there right now? Out maybe Toledo, but we don't know what Toledo's going to look like. So I agree with Boise.
I mean, yeah,
That's good. But yeah, so I mean, like you go back to your Ohio State point. Ohio State's in there, which is fine at 3. Maybe if they're going by paper, they should be down in the rankings. They shouldn't be at 3. That's just my. That's not bias because I know people are gonna be that's bias. They should be at 3 if you're not. If we're not gonna do this paper thing, but they're national champions.
I mean, yeah.
You got to give them that.
If you're looking at paper, you would almost flip them and Clemson based off of what Clemson's bringing back also,
I agree.
and their strength of schedule.
They got Cade Klubnik coming in, so I think you put them up. Notre Dame. I don't know. I don't. Poll's okay. I think they're too high. Ohio State, like I said, Ohio State okay. Oregon, I mean, we don't even know who this Dante Moore. I think they're gonna be a quarterback. What's he gonna be?
Yeah,
I don't know. There's some questionable stuff there, and we talked about Oklahoma too. Oklahoma, we don't know what Oklahoma's gonna be. You know what they're gonna be, and we talked about they got receivers, but what's their quarterback gonna be like? Coming their defense, and they're gonna get a good test week 2 when Michigan comes calling. So I don't know. It's an interesting. Committee's probably going to get it wrong, just like we're going to have this debate when a football playoff begins.
oh, easily. And again, for those of you that are watching, you do have to remember this is the first poll. Obviously, um, voters and things like that, they've probably seen some of the summer camps and whatever. But this is the first one. It's going to be very fluid. This is just us reacting to it based off the fact that we just talked and had our predictions yesterday. We've been following some of the camps and news out there. So for those of you guys that aren't as tuned into that college football space or have been tuning more into the NFL, which we will dive into a little bit since the preseason just started. Again, this is just the first poll. Um, Everything is brand new, and everybody's pretty much guessing just like we are. So I just like to point that out for everybody that's out there
Agreed.
that's listening that may not be as into college football as much as we are, because I feel like that's an important portion as well. This is the very first one, and everybody's pretty much in the same space when it comes to trying to rank these teams and things like that.
Yeah, so we is not there is week 0 games coming up. It shouldn't change. I don't think. I think the only team's Kansas State playing in week 0. I don't. And
I believe so. Yeah,
so Kansas State Iowa State will be a ranked matchup for week 0. So that's gonna move a little bit, not much, but two teams will move.
and that's a ranked versus ranked matchup
Yeah,
as well. I believe
and
Iowa State snuck into the top 25. They're in that 20 area. So, um, I mean, that's a good week 0 matchup coming up also.
Yeah, and you got and you got Michigan, Georgia, or Michigan, Oklahoma, and you're gonna have 1 versus 3 the following week, Texas, Ohio State, and who knows where Penn State's gonna be when they go to Columbus, and we got Clemson, LSU. So there's some pretty big matchups that are gonna start fluctuating in the top 25. Now, granted, come November, that ain't gonna matter. This poll ain't gonna matter. We could talk, we could look at it.
Nope.
Not gonna matter because that's when the CFP playoff ranking come out. So for now, we just got to go with the committee with this with the voters because we're going to disagree now. We're disagree with the voter or the committee coming up in November. So I think it was an okay thing. I don't know. It's just questionable. I think some teams we think teams should be moved lower. Some should be higher. But I guess time will tell when the action starts here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with a majority of what they have going on. I do agree that there is some um normal voter bias and some questionable calls, but again, granted, luckily with the playoff and the playoff committee, this won't matter here um by halfway through the season anyways, because we'll all be waiting on what the college football committee thinks, and it won't matter what coaches and AP voters and the media think anyways, until we break it all down from what the committee has. So, I mean, it's fun now. It matters for the time being, but here, once the action starts to hit and the dominoes start to fall, it's not going to matter as much because things are going to change. So, but yeah, it it definitely had some questionable calls there, but for the most part, I would agree with the top 25. Um, Now where they're put in that area, will always be up for debate. But yeah, for the first poll, I don't think it's a bad one.
No, I mean Indiana's still sitting there too. They're getting a new quarterback. I mean, they're still getting transfers. So I don't think they're going to be anywhere near the Big Ten or college football playoff because they're going to be blocked by Ohio State, Penn State, probably Illinois, maybe Michigan, Oregon. So I think Indiana will fall out. But Ole Miss, same as Indiana, they'll probably fall out at some point. But I mean, you never know. That's why they got to play the games, and we'll find out as week one gets going.
Yeah, I agree.
Week one, so college football, we will have picks next week for week 0. It's gonna be a short slate, so stay tuned for that. We're excited to get that going with picks starting next week. We're gonna do we'll keep track of our picks for the standings throughout the year, so you guys can kind of see how we do and make fun of us when we lose our picks. So
Yeah, because we're bound to lose a bunch. So
up lose a bunch, especially when we start when the upsets happen, and there's always that one sneaky non conference game that gets some people that
man,
don't think.
always.
So we will start the picks next week. We'll do 2 separate for college and NFL. So stay tuned for that as we get going. So we're going to move on to the Browns. First off, I just want to say I apologize for swearing earlier. I was with the internet. We had internet problems. It was frustrating. So I was thinking about that. I caught myself. So I know some of the older folks. Sorry about swearing. I know some of you really don't care, but I know some might be like, "Holy cow!" But so yeah, I apologize for that. That's on me. I will do better, but it slips once in a while, as we all know. So, so that's just how the night went with this internet. I'll tell you. But all right, we're gonna go to the Browns. We've had some breaking news throughout the day or throughout Monday, as you're listening to us on Wednesday and so on. We're gonna start with the breaking news. Myles Garrett got pulled over Saturday morning, going 100 miles per hour, driving. It's not his first offense. So according to Mary Kay Cabot, he was driving 200 or 100 miles per hour, and got caught about 2 a.m. So not the second time or not the first time, definitely not the second, but here we are again, team leader Mark, and he's doing this.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not his first time. And the last time that he got caught doing this, he ended up in an accident. And I did he, if I recall, he was close to or missed a game. So, um, I mean, after all the contract stuff, after all the trade requests and things like that, um, in the off season, and then, I mean, this is nitpicky. He is, I mean, a borderline. He's probably going to end up being a Hall of Fame, edge rusher when it's all said and done. But I mean, when you're a guy that constantly is in the media talking about changing the culture, changing everything, wanting to win games, and then you can't learn from your own simple mistakes. Like, imagine it's the same exact instance. Imagine he was around that same area and he were to get hurt or worse again. Then you're looking at um, a dead contract with a bunch of historic money again.
Yep.
And because he, um, I mean, is driving the way he's driving or whatever and getting caught. Luckily, nothing happened. Nothing got hurt, or he didn't get hurt. He wasn't in any real crazy like health troubles or anything. But at the same time, like as a team leader and as someone that, and I do believe him when he says in the media like he wants to change the culture, he wants to win in Cleveland. I do believe that, but when there's these multiple offenses of driving, and I understand like that's an NFL player thing, it's a common thing in the NFL. But then you go back to stories of Miles Garrett's accident last year. I mean, there's extremes where you go to like a Henry Ruggs incident. Like these guys just aren't learning their lesson when it comes to these driving incidents, and then it looks bad, especially on the team when,
Yep.
let's say, obviously we're going to get to what we think the Browns are going to do this season. If the Browns do start to fail, if they do start to slip, then you start to look at the offseason and things like this get pinpointed and nitpicked even worse because guys are messing around in camp and things like that, getting or like you're getting caught out at 2 a.m. on a Saturday, like a day after a game that in a preseason game that granted you're not supposed to play while you're Miles Garrett, but at the same time, like what were you doing? There's questions that can be had there. So it's a mentality thing, I feel like, and when it's not your first offense, people are gonna bring it into question, especially when they spent historic money, you asked for a trade, and all the stuff prior to that happened. I mean, if you start to like get down to the nitty gritty, it's how bought in are you really, and are you learning from your mistakes and wanting a championship mentality for real, like you say you do.
Yeah. And to bounce off, yeah, like, do you want to win? He wants to win clearly, but you can't keep doing this, and it's frustrating that a leader of this team is out speeding. Don't know why he's speeding. Um, why? I mean, what's the point of speeding? I mean, he rolled over once, and God forbid you did it again, and maybe that time you don't survive. But luckily in this case, he did get pulled over, and nothing. Not saying it's a good thing to get pulled over, but the cop probably saved his life because who knows?
Or could have, yeah, because even last time he had a bunch of cuts. He had that elbow problem that lingered the rest of the season following. I mean, even if you would have survived the rollover, who's to
Yeah.
say that it's not a career ender at this point in time?
He may have had somebody in his car. I think I'm not sure. I don't. So don't call me. I'm not.
In the first rollover, he did, I believe, yes.
What I thought. I thought he had somebody. It could be wrong. Someone in the comments want to correct us on that, but it's. I think I remember. I think it was his girlfriend or fiance or whoever was. I think was in the
Yeah,
car,
something like that, yeah.
but I think it was a woman. We could be wrong, but yeah, you can't keep doing that. And you want to win, you want to do all this, but you're going out and you're doing this. We've already had Cleveland sports drama with the Cavs and the Guardians for different things, but can't keep doing this. At some point, when's enough? I mean, you're not going to suspend him. You're not going to kick him. You're not going to, like, you're done for 3 games, whatever. He's going to play, but at the same time, it's like, come on, bro. Like, before, I don't know, something.
Yeah, it's just about learning your lesson. Like you already rolled over once going a similar speed in a similar area,
Yeah.
and that should have been the wake up call all on its own. I mean, I understand like, hey, he's got the money. Like, who am I to tell him what to do? But at the same time, from an outside perspective and from a fan perspective, like, just lay low, learn your lesson, don't put yourself in harm's way. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it don't, because lay low, chill out. It's you could drive whatever, get a driver. I mean, I get it, you want to drive and all that's fun to drive, but at what point do you just go, okay, maybe I need to stop? I mean,
Right.
it's laughable to some people because it's the Browns and the Browns are gonna Browns, and then another it's frustrating. Like, this team leader's doing this, they got a good defense to keep them in games. Don't know the quarterback, but again, here we are. We're playing off field story. It ain't the off season without either something happening with some other things. Like I say, what's got the charges, and then I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah. Never a dull moment. And now, like, if you look back on it, for Miles to do it, now you can't even condemn what just happened with Shador, who I'm sure we'll touch on here any minute now. I mean, you can't even condemn him for what he did because you have team leaders in the same building doing it
Yeah,
and doing it worse.
yeah, doing it worse, and rookie makes mistakes, and some people don't like Sanders. I know I wasn't a big fan of the pick, still not. I mean, he had okay preseason. We'll get into that momentarily, but at some, you can't condemn him now because you got the leader doing it. I mean, not to say the team's gonna okay now we could do it, Miles could do it, or no, Miles did it, we could do it, but at the same time, you gotta.
It just sets a bad precedent. That's
Yeah,
all.
I agree because I mean, God forbid if it was Deshaun doing it. Oh my God, the city would have burned down if he was doing it. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's got to be held accountable at some point. That's just us or me, but he's got to be held accountable, and the team's got to.
No, I agree.
And the result is he could pay a $250 fine, and not have to go to court. So I'm assuming he's going to pay that. That's to him. That's pocket change. That's okay.
Yeah, he blew his nose with that this morning.
Yeah, right. Here you go. Take my money, and hopefully he'll learn, and hopefully we'll see what the consequences are. Probably nothing, but still maybe a slap on the wrist at that.
Yeah, something.
So we're going to turn to the first preseason game. Browns did beat Carolina. Um, it was an okay game. Sanders, 14 for 23, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. Granted, most of them were against second and third stringers. So first couple drives were a little rough, especially against Carolina's first stringers. The Browns were a couple of the teams that did not play their starters. So we'll see if the changes coming up Saturday against Philadelphia. He did struggle against number one team. So, Mark, what did you think of his NFL debut for Sanders?
Um, so I'm kind of on the other side of the fence. I liked the pick. I wanted them to pick him when they took Gabriel. Now, granted, we ended up with both. I'm not a big fan of Dylan Gabriel. I didn't really like him in college, but that's neither here nor there. When it comes to Shador, I thought he proved a lot of people wrong, and for a few different reasons. When you look at it, he hasn't been getting the reps that you would think he would be getting based off of his name, based off of who he is, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Granted, for whatever reason, they put him as a 4th-string quarterback. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. That's what the coaches see there with him. That's their decision, and that's what they're putting their money on the line for. But with a lack of reps, and then when we talk about he was going up and he did a lot of his work against the second and the third stringers. At the same time, he was playing against ones. I didn't think he played that bad, all things considered, but he's playing against Carolina's ones. Carolina still has a decent defense. Um, but he's also playing with second and third stringers. So I think that has to be mentioned and that has to be brought into account as well. He's going to be, I mean, we can say all day long he's playing against second and third stringers, but he's playing with second and third stringers also. It's not like he's trotting out there with the number one offensive line for the team, as well as number one wide receivers, which, I mean, granted, Cleveland's wide receivers are basically number two receivers, anyways, outside of Judy. And when we get into what we think about for the Browns as a whole this season, I'll touch more on our wide receiver room issues. But I mean, I thought he had great poise. I thought he showed athleticism that he wasn't really getting talked about much coming out of college or in pre-draft. But you've seen the accuracy, you've seen the decision making, and I think personally, it looks as though he's on an NFL time clock when it comes to getting the ball out, and he's been kind of sort of like he looked a little better yesterday or excuse me Friday when it came to not taking sacks as well. Um Granted, he ran around back there a little bit much. He kind of reverted back to college when it came to something like that, but I felt that he didn't really take sacks the way he did in college, which was a big thing.
All right.
But you saw the accuracy on display, and you can't teach that level of accuracy. His 2 touchdown throws were layered over multiple defenders. Even throws on the run. even the throws that he missed, he's making things happen in the backfield that you're not really going to get anywhere else in the quarterback room. You're not going to get that with Flacco. He's got a big arm. He's 40 years old. Um, you're not really going to get that with Gabriel much. I mean, he's going to be running around back there anyways, but he's a midget compared to most other quarterbacks. He's Baker Mayfield with the left hand and a little and less moxie. And then you have Kenny Pickett, who we all know what Kenny Pickett is. Lord only knows why he's even on the roster or why you would trade for him. But I mean, you're not going to get that accuracy everywhere, and I thought he was on display. I also like his post game interview as well. He was he didn't give himself an A plus or anything like that when it came to his
Right.
grade on himself. He was hard on himself. I think he gave himself like a C plus, and that was only because of the win. So I think during the NFL draft process, it was all about the NFL wants to humble him, whatever. And I think he also displayed a great deal of humbleness when it came to assessing his play on Friday. And that was something big to see as well, because you would think him being Dion's son and being famous since he was a little kid, you would think any game where you throw 2 touchdowns and you're extremely accurate, um, coming off of the most accurate season of any college football quarterback ever, that you wouldn't be as humble. You wouldn't be giving yourself a C plus or a C grade, saying that you didn't seize the opportunity. So to hear that, I felt was also promising.
Yeah, I agree with the fourth string. I don't think he's one. He's two right now. Maybe three. I think he could be tied three with Gabriel. We don't know what Gabriel looks like. He's been out the hamstring. Pickett been out the hamstring, but we know what Pickett looks like. It's probably gonna be Flacco starting. If we had to guess, they're not gonna.
Which I'm okay with, honestly. Like I'm big on the give a guy a year to find the game, especially when you aren't 100%, like he's not 100% generational talent lock, but I do think he is the quarterback of a future, and the Browns schedule is grueling this year,
Mm-hmm.
especially the first half.
Yeah.
So you don't want to throw him to the wolves. Like you would rather play a Flacco who probably gives you a chance to win in this offense, but you don't want to throw him and discourage him and give him a Mayfield or a Johnny Manziel type of treatment where you throw him in and he's screwed from the beginning.
No, that's what I was just gonna say. You put. I think if which we probably will be out of it, as we probably will be out of it come week 12, week 13. That's when you start him.
Easily.
You start,
Yep.
let him go, and just tell him, be like, look, confidence. Just go out there, do what you want, or not do what you want, but do what you can. Don't lose confidence because
Yeah, this is your job interview. This is next year's job interview right here.
you're gonna be because we're probably at. But I haven't looked at the schedule for a couple of weeks, but you're playing probably play Pittsburgh Bengals and the Ravens probably in that stretch from week 12 to 13 or 12 to 18. So you're gonna have that play, number one teams to see what he's got. Those three will probably be fighting for playoff spots at that time, and then you're gonna have us who's all right. There's playing guys to play guys because Flacco might be traded by then. They're gonna need so a team might need
I mean,
a good backup. He might be Shador, Pickett, and Gabriel's team.
yeah, because naturally, I have the schedule pulled up here. Once you get past November 30th, which was when we play the 49ers, you have the back half of the season is the Titans, the Bears, the Bills, who are going to be fighting for a playoff spot, might have already clinched by then,
Yeah.
depending on their division and what happens there.
Yeah.
And then the Steelers and the Bengals again. So by then, you either have teams that are going to probably be sitting and coasting,
Mm-hmm.
or you're playing bottom of the barrel teams that are still trying to figure out what their roster is like.
Right.
When as compared to the first half of the season, you're opening up with the Bengals, the Ravens, the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings, who
All are probably
are all playoff or fringe playoff teams.
yeah. They're all going to be close. The Lions should. It's going to be between the Lions and Packers for that. Well, you can't count out Minnesota. We don't know what McCarthy's going to look like. We'll talk about that in the weeks to come. You got the
And I did, and to touch on him, I thought he looked good after all things considered, after basically a year and a half of no football and all the weight that he lost, the way he got sick and everything. I didn't think he looked too bad the other day.
no. He looked okay. I thought he looked. Decent. Now he only played one series. No, 4 for 7. He missed the guy wide open that almost led to a touchdown or kept the drive going on fourth down. But I thought he looked okay. Some people are like, oh, he stinks, and I'm like, well, it's only week 1 or preseason, so what are you gonna do? But
Yeah.
back to the Browns. I mean, you 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 could maybe pull out a win against the Bengals because Bengals they don't know what their team is. Then week 1, no one knows what their identity is. Then you get going. You got the Packers, the Lions. You're probably gonna be probably not go 0-2 in that stretch. Vikings overseas in London. Maybe because of the travels may affect the Vikings. Who knows? Because you're probably facing another rookie in JJ. So I don't know. It's gonna be tough. The Jets. I don't know. It's gonna be definitely an interesting season for them. And with the wide receivers, we need wide receivers. We have nobody. We have Cedric Tillman.
Our we have Judy. In my opinion, we have Judy, and that's it. We're all hoping that Tillman is going to have a breakout year, but at the same time, he's had health problems since college.
Yeah,
So, can you really put your chips there? We didn't make any offseason moves at the receiver position, even though everybody else in our division did. Whether it was the Bengals bringing guys back, the Steelers went out and got Metcalf. I mean, we signed Deontay Johnson, but I mean, he's been a failure for a couple of years now. He couldn't even stay on a team last year. Like maybe he has a resurgence, but are you really going to put your chips on that? We basically have Jerry Judy, who's I mean, I think he solidified himself as a number 1 receiver last year after he got his money and a coach that believes in him.
right.
But other than that, who do you really have other than like you have Njoku, but again, health problems. I do like their tight end pick with Harold Finn and Jr. I think he's gonna. I think you end up seeing the Browns run a lot of too tight, two receiver sets because that's all we really have. Like we did not address the wide receiver room well, and we didn't address it in the draft, and we threw away a pick picking Dylan Gabriel, in my opinion, when you could have got Luther Burton from Missouri. There were guys there that you could have picked multiple different times that you kind of just threw away. While our receiver room is a mess.
Yeah, was what we still don't know why. I mean, you could come out and say why you picked Gabriel. You know, he's got good talent. You know, blah blah blah. But what's the real? We don't know the real reason. We'll never know the real reason why we picked Gabriel. We won't know the real who actually selected Shador. Never know that until something happens. I'm sure it's gonna come out down the road at some point.
It'll come out when he starts to play well that Barry picked him because Barry needs a good pick under his belt to keep his job, in my opinion.
Or even if Barry does get fired, you know something's gonna come out about something's gonna come out. Whoever gets fired.
Oh yeah. He'll spill some tea somewhere, even if it's false.
Yeah, I think someone's gonna get not come out if Barry does get fired. 'Cause you know how that goes. Not just with Cleveland, but other teams. You get these backdoor stories that come out, and you're like, well, you know, told you so. But
right,
and we don't know what the running back situation is gonna look like. Judkins still dealing with his charges. Supposedly he's gonna be able to play, but the stuff's.
But he's still not signed either.
No, he's supposedly stuff's gonna get pushed back to January, but we'll see. He hasn't. He didn't play this week. Definitely not playing this week, or didn't play last week. Definitely not playing this week. So we don't know. He's not signed. We don't know what's gonna happen. Does he play? Do they not?
And he hasn't even been at camp. Like they said that he was looking like a generational talent at OTAs, but now he's been dealing with what he's been dealing with, and whether he gets out of it or not, like it does seem like the reports are leaning towards it maybe isn't as truthful as it sounded in the beginning, which I'm not going to speak on one way or the other, but
Right.
when it comes to football, he's now been out of football for almost a month.
Yeah.
He hasn't played in a real game yet. Dylan Sampson is getting reps over him. Lord only knows when Ford is gonna start getting reps. And I believe we took or signed a third running back that like if he starts to show out, then Judkins is gonna continue to lose money. While his counterpart from OSU looked great in his debut with the Patriots, and they're looking at it, and that's not really a good thing for him. When you think about it, it's hey, your teammate showed out and we can't even get you on the field now, and you want all this guaranteed money. What do you expect us to do? Everything is kind of against him right now, and he's going to have to end up making a decision whether this fight is worth fighting for when it comes to this guaranteed money and stuff like that, and whether he wants to get on the field before these charges come one way or the other, and whether the chips fall or not. But I'm hoping they get that handled soon because like I mean we're gonna need them.
Yeah, you're gonna need them. You pass up on some running backs that you could have had in the draft. Caleb Johnson would have loved Caleb Johnson. He's been a stud at Iowa. I would have taken him wholeheartedly, but um,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see because you got I don't know. It's teams in disarray, and are they trying to take? I mean, we just heard the other day. We won't get into it now, but Arch Manning, he might stay another year. Does he stay? Then who do we look to? The hometown kid, Drew Aller, if we need a quarterback, because we know Flacco's. Maybe he stays. No,
Flacco's a year. He's a year guy. He did it, like I mean, it seems like he's contemplating whether he wants to play or not. He was already talking about how his sons want him home in the preseason interviews and things like that. Plus, I mean, and I personally think Pickett is trade bait for later on down the road when teams get into some quarterback injuries and things like that. At least that's what I hope. And maybe we can get a receiver or a running back out of that or some picks or something.
I
But I do think that he's looking at that quarterback room, as in Joe Flacco, and seeing I have 1 year to maybe get on another roster, maybe run as a backup for next year. Like, I mean, this is his job interview because our quarterback room is then extremely young after that. We just drafted 2 rookies. So I think he knows that, like it's this year and that's about it. And I think he's really only there because our defense is our strong suit. Um, even though we've already taken the hit of losing Emerson for the year in camp and things like that. Like as long as the defense stays healthy, they'll be able to keep us in games, and I think that's why Flacco's there until we start to fold.
Yeah, and I think we trade Flacco if he's not going to sign. Trade him, give him to a backup for a team for a playoff push. If we're out of it, just leave Pickett, Shador, get both. We're out of it. That's what I think they should do. I don't know if you trade
I agree.
now. If you trade Pickett before the season or early in the season, then yeah, you're stuck with Flacco. Once the season's over, bench him, start Shador. Probably right now Shador, and just let him go. You got none to lose. You're going to be out
Yeah.
probably. We hope not. Hope there'll be a surprise season in there somewhere, but you never know. But until we get proven otherwise, I think you're out of it, and you just you play Shador at that point and just see what you got against some ones and go from there.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I feel like, I mean, we all know how I think all of us in Cleveland love the Browns, but I think we're like a 4 or 5 win team max, unfortunately. And that should give Shador and guys like Pickett and Gabriel a chance to show their stuff at the end of the year, once they're a little bit more into the offense. But I really don't see us winning more than like 5, maybe 6 games. But I think 5 might be the max with the schedule that we have.
Yeah, its schedule's be grueling, but again, you got a veteran quarterback. He can still move. I was watching some of his practice tapes today before we came on, and he can still move a little bit. So we'll see if
I mean,
receiver.
yeah, he's still got I mean, he's still got a rocket arm and he can still push the ball down the field. I just don't know that our offense has enough talent to save to save our defense and what our defense should be this year. Unfortunately, now we're going back to the Stefanski offense, more of like a ground and pound play action type. So we'll see if that has success again this year after our failed attempt at trying to build an offense and a roster around Deshaun with the lack of talent that we had around him as well. I think while I don't think he played the best, I also think our offense and our talent on offense while he was here failed him. Um, Based off of coaching and GM and whatever, like we didn't have depth in the offensive line. We never really had a strong receiver room. We had a strong receiver here or there, but I mean, if you want to run a spread offense, you got to have some guys on the edge, and I don't feel like we did. And I think there was a lot more behind the scenes based off of what Stefanski wanted to do and what the offense needed to be to have a quarterback like Deshaun to succeed. So I mean, that's obviously in the rear view at the moment, and we'll see if Stefanski's offense and his philosophy brings back some magic. But I just don't think our offense can keep up with the skill of our defense to keep them off the field enough to keep us in games or win us games from the defensive side of the ball. And I think we're looking at a top 10 pick next year, probably.
We got two. We got Jacksonville pick when we traded
Yeah.
Travis Hunter, so we could be. We got to root for Jacksonville to go 0-16 or what 17 now.
And and Trevor Lawrence has not looked good in camp from the reports I've been seeing. Also, just to hit on Jacksonville, it's looking like he's a bust compared to what the hype was on him.
Yeah, I mean, there's some college kids they work Heisman's in college or play well in college, and then they go to the NFL and nowhere
Yeah, they just peter out.
they fall apart. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll do an NFL preview a couple weeks as we get closer. Probably
Yeah, to the regular season.
yeah, probably the week before I think, or the week leading up to it. So stay tuned for that. Probably the week after Labor Day when the season gets going. I know we got drafts and all that coming up. I can talk about as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure all the listeners out there are either knee deep or getting ready to be knee deep into a bunch of fantasy leagues. I know they're all coming up. So hopefully you guys have done your research out there on that and are excited for the fantasy football season coming up too. As the preseason rolls around, fantasy football starts to roll around, and that's when it gets real exciting.
I got 4 leagues this year, so this is gonna be interesting. See how that goes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm in like 3 or 4 also. So it should be interesting. I got my notepad ready to go, and I got to do some research of my own.
Yeah, so you're in. I know we're in one together, so it'll be interesting to see
Yeah, of course.
what a couple of our buddies. So, but folks, are you? Quick message: are you or someone looking for work? Well, this might be for you. There is a mass hiring event happening for the new Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sports store in Strongsville. Positions go from retail associates to retail sales lead positions to many other positions store wide. The hiring event starts Monday, August 18th, and runs through Thursday, or not Thursday, through September 13th. It will take place. The hiring event will take place at the Courtyard by Marriott, Cleveland Airport North. The address is 24901 Country Club Boulevard in North Olmsted, Ohio. Again, that is the Courtyard by Marriott, Cleveland Airport North. Tongue twister. The address is 24901 Country Club Boulevard, North Olmsted, Ohio. So, but get this brand new store coming up in Strongsville, House of Sport. It's got a lot of things. It's got, get this, a 30-foot high climbing wall. It's got batting cages, golf simulator
Wow,
where you can try out clubs, receive instruction on the clubs, even participate in virtual tournaments. I thought that was cool. That's I'm gonna love that.
that's insane.
Yeah, and then outdoor play is going to be an outdoor playing field. Plus, there will be a tracker on the field where you get your tennis shoes if you buy tennis shoes from Dick's from that store. So I know I'll be going there to buy some. I know Mark will be too, and there's so much more.
Yeah, 100%.
So there's so much more. So please, if you're looking for you need work, go to the hiring events that starts Monday, August 18th, and runs through September 13th, at the Courtyard by Marriott, Cleveland Airport North Hotel. The address again, 24901 Country Club Boulevard, North Olmsted, Ohio. And we know the guy Brandon, who's actually going to be overseeing the day-to-day operations at this store, the House Sports store. So we've known him for 10 plus years. Him and his brother, their brother are nothing shy of amazing. So Brandon, we're excited for the new opportunity, our guy. So keep going. You're appreciated, and we've had a couple heart to hearts. I know the past couple months as we've grown up together. So my guy, keep killing it. We're excited to go along with you on this journey. So keep going. We're excited to hear all about the new adventures. So please, y'all, if you're going or need looking for work, this is the place to be, and start applying today. And he was actually talking to me a couple of days ago that the first day they already had 200 applicants for the first day they posted everything.
Wow.
So yeah, so if you're looking, that Dick's Sporting Goods House Sport. So with that being said,
Yeah, and congrats to Brandon
yeah,
and much success on what's to come for him.
yeah, congrats. We're excited for the new journey, my guy. Much love, brother. Much love. So all right, we got some other breaking news, UFC breaking news to wrap up the night here. We'll talk a little UFC 319. So breaking news, if you're not aware, this happened Monday morning as well. A lot of breaking news on Monday. So
Yeah.
happens during football season and all that. The UFC is leaving ESPN networks. It is going to CBS Sports slash Paramount Plus for their pay per views. Well, not called pay per views, but their the numbered shows and the fight nights. It was a 7 point. If I could get this right, let me find the numbers here. I had them written
I
down.
believe it was 7.7 mil,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
7.7. And it comes after a 4 year or a 7 year deal with ESPN expires in December. So they'll be moving, and and for the consumer, I think it's exciting because you got not only are you gonna get you need a Paramount Plus subscription, but you're done paying the $70 plus for pay per views. You're getting the subscriptions, but again, included to your subscriptions, and Dana White was on a couple interviews today, and he said we're gonna get some of the marquee shows on CBS, like where you find the Browns and football. So he thinks it's a big deal because you got fight fans who might have to pay for a subscription, but you're not paying $70 now to get these events.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier today. I also saw a couple of videos and read an article. I don't remember what the article was, otherwise I'd shout it out. But I also did hear that there isn't going to be any additional charge for the UFC portion of things. While Paramount Plus itself might go up. I mean, that's big for fight fans. Also, you're not paying for any type of premium subscription as far as I've read up to this point. Now, granted, this is at the time of recording about 24 hours old or so. But as far as I've read and heard, it's not going to be a separate UFC package, and you're going to see some on live TV. So I think it's going to help UFC ratings. I think the pay per view model was getting old, and people were just not happy with it, especially when it comes to the state of things in the world as a whole and money and things like that. I think the pay per view model was already dying out as it was. And now you'll get a lot more viewers and probably a lot more new fight fans. Again, after their big spike in COVID, I think you'll probably see a big spike again by just the average viewer scrolling through TV trying to find something to watch, and boom, there it is on CBS. Or if you're scrolling on Paramount, I know I've gone through and I've watched other fights back on ESPN Plus. Now you can do that on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
And it's not flooded with the other sports and things like that. So I mean, they're gonna have kind of a grip over all of Paramount Plus's things and stuff like that, plus CBS Sports. I feel like that's huge for them.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier, as I didn't think about this, but I was doing some things around the house before for tonight or the show, and you asked the question, how does ESPN feel about this? But they just got WWE, which is almost like they're paying more than what UFC is paying CBS. So now, was it a WWE factor, or is it just that they're getting more money if they go to CBS than what ESPN was offering them because of WWE?
Right.
They're merged as one company under TKO, and it'll be interesting to hear what Dana says. I know he's been going around doing interviews, but when I think he may talk yesterday, which would be Tuesday after his Contender Series, definitely going to talk Saturday after the fight. So it'll be interesting to see what more he says about this, how it came about. But yeah, so it's a great day for UFC. I know it's a great day for me, you, and a couple others fight fans that we know, because we're not going to be, paying 70 plus every month. Maybe we'll pay
Right.
30 plus. That's fine. Or I pay 30 plus, then the 70 we're getting. And it'll be a little easier for us when we go to people's houses. We just flip it on. Don't even have to worry about it. But so I'm excited for that. We're excited for that. So we do have a pay per view this week as one of the final pay per views, we should say, before we switch. The headliner is Ducres du Plessis versus Kazmat Shemanev, and that's a big one. This is Shemanev's first fight in the U.S., and he is undefeated. His last fight was almost a year ago in October, and he has 5 first-round finishes. So, and against Duplessis, who is the underdog, and is on a 9-fight win streak. So that is very, very interesting fight as the main event for the title.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a good one. Obviously, if you're a UFC fan, you know about um Kamzat and how he pretty much just sprints forward in the beginning of
Mhm.
beginning of the fight. So I mean, if Duplessis can get out of those first two rounds relatively unharmed and he doesn't get finished in there, that's when it really gets interesting. I mean, the dude's a tank. He's shown that he can go through 5 round wars, excuse me, and win those bouts. But also, I mean, he can finish guys. He finished Adesanya on the ground. He finished Robert Whitaker on the feet. So I mean, he's beat the who's who, and I mean he's beat Sean Strickland in 5 rounds, just beating him to bits, um, and things like that. So I mean, also I mean I'm interested to see what happens, and if Drakus just lets him or understands that he's going to get taken down and try to just ride it out and try to empty his gas tank, because we did see Kamzat kind of gas out when he fought Gilbert Burns and when he fought Usman. He sprints in that first round. He wins a lot of first rounds. He wins a lot of second rounds when he gets there. But I mean, I believe if I'm not mistaken, this is his first 5 round fight. He's had other ones scheduled that he had to pull out of for various different reasons.
Yeah,
He's been there for the title shot, and been vying for it for a while. He's an exciting fighter, but I'd like to see what happens if he does get into those later, the end of the third, fourth, fifth rounds. If he can withstand Duplessis, because he's an awkward fighter, but the guy's a freaking tank.
yeah, and he the last fight we were watching together, he was facing Whitaker and he busted Whitaker's jaw, and we saw pictures.
Yeah,
So he's a striker too. He's cement. He can strike, but can he last the 5 rounds? We know Duplessis with who he's been facing over the pat for his title defense. I believe it's like his second. It's his second title defense, second winning the title. So it's going to be very very interesting how those two match up. I don't know. I kind of like Shemenev right now. I don't know. I just think he's the favorite. Those overseas fighters, they're a different breed. I mean, he's Duplessis overseas,
yeah.
but those type of guys are overseas. I don't know, they're a different breed, man.
I agree that I mean when it comes down to it, when you look at some of the greatest fighters lately in the UFC, the ones that win the championship and hold it for a while, they're really good wrestlers. Look at Usman,
Yeah,
who was in the same weight division. He was a big time wrestler. Granted, his striking started to catch up,
yeah,
but again, a big wrestler. I mean, outside of really Adesanya and things like that. I mean, wrestling bases are usually the bases that win and hold on to championships for a while. So it'll be definitely interesting to see. I'm leaning more towards Kamzat as well. I am a little biased because I do like the way he fights, and I just like him as a fighter, but I think he might be able to get him out of there in the first couple of rounds, because that type of pace right away, basically going 0 to 100, it's hard to deal with also, when it comes to wrestling and putting things together. And as far as people have said, he hits hard in those first couple rounds. So good luck trying to withstand it. And I know Drakus hits pretty hard too, but I don't know. It's just something about Kamzat, and these undefeated fighters from that Russia, Dagestan, like places like that. And also he was an Olympic wrestler for Chechnya. So like I mean his wrestling is way up there, and I'll be interested to see. Duplessis is big on, oh, I'll beat you wherever you want me to go, but I don't know if that's the right way to go with a guy like this.
yeah. We in 14-0, and he's had some health problems. So we'll see if coming over different kind of air in Chicago, different kind of elements. How does he do? How does his health hold? Like you said, how does his health hold up? How can you get through 5? Does Duplessis take advantage at some point? So we're gonna see. We're gonna see throughout this show the fight, and if he could have a stamina. If he has a stamina, I think he wins, and he's the new title. Now there's rumors. Now I'm just there's rumors. Does he give up? Does he retire at? Retire after? That's the question. We're gonna be
I
wondering.
mean, yeah, he did almost retire from COVID, and that was a big thing.
Yeah,
After he got it, that he got it real bad, and he wanted to retire and quit fighting. And I mean, he's had his health problems. He lives in not the best part of the world, and has had some other
right.
um political problems go on and things like that. So, um, I mean, it's well documented that he's made a great life for himself with the money that he's made from the UFC. So how much longer does he really want to fight, especially when he only fights once every year, once every 2 years, whatever. So I mean, there definitely is some things out there, but this card alone has some pretty great fights on it. Aaron Pico is making his UFC debut.
That was hard.
He's a big guy coming over, as well as I love this Jared Cannonier Michael Venom Page fight as well.
Like, yeah,
I think that could be one that people aren't really talking about because the main event is so crazy, and because Aaron Pico is such a big name coming over and people are excited for that debut. But I think Jared Cannonier likes to strike. Michael Venom Page is obviously a crazy world renowned striker. I feel like that could be a potential fight of the night type of fight.
and look at Page. Last time he fought, he is a press win over that Shara Magadov. We didn't think, okay,
Yeah,
Magadov was gonna go in. He's gonna beat up on Page, and then Page comes in and just wallops and beats Shahar Magadov. And Magadov's a good Russian fighter. He's in Islam's team, and we were shot. It's only his fourth UFC fight too for his age. He's 2-1. He's a striker, so I think I like Page. I mean, Cannonier's good. But Cannonier has tendencies where he loses fights, from being striked, from being taken down, and if he's not careful, get knocked out. So I do like Page in that one. I think Page comes out on top now. Not to say Cannonier doesn't knock Page out or submit him, but I think Page is going to be a little quicker, and he gets the job done for that one.
yeah. I mean I agree. I like Michael Venom Page as a fighter. I mean we've seen some of his highlights. I mean, he literally put a dent in a man's head from a kick. So, anybody that can put a dent into somebody, into a human being, without killing him he's a scary guy to fight. That's for sure. And I mean, his only loss in the UFC was a close fight to Ian Gary, Michael Venom Page. So, I mean, he's definitely not a slouch, and I know he's vying for a chance at a title before he retires in the UFC because he wants to be considered as one of the best um, to do it. So I definitely like him as well. And Carlos Prates versus Jeff Neal is another one that's going to be pretty good. Prates coming off of another close fight with Ian Gary,
Yeah,
um, and a lot of people like him as a young fighter off of that Fighting Nerds team, where he can kind of bounce back and get a win over Jeff Neal. He is a favorite, and get himself back into that picture.
yeah. Excuse me, Prentice's all 5 wins have been knockouts, so he's that Brazilian fighter, and this is Neil's first fight in over a year. So I think there's a lot.
Yeah, and he's had some health problems too.
Yeah, they've been a lot of health problems on this card. That's very interesting. I don't know about this. I'm probably giving it to Practice just because I think he's more fresh, and I think how he showed against Ian.
I agree.
I think we don't know what Neil's going to look like or how he's going to respond. So I'm going to go Neil on, or not Neil. I'm going to go Practice on this one. But we'll talk about health problems real quick. No, you picked up. My bad. Who'd you go with? You're going with Practice, right?
Yeah, yeah. I like Prates as well. I think he's a good young fighter, and I think he believes he won that Ian Gary fight, even though it was close, and a lot of people did say um that Gary for sure won 3-2. I think it was close. I think he does have a lot of confidence off of that, and I think
Yeah.
I mean he's fighting with that Fighting Nerds team, who they just keep on figuring out ways to win, and they're all real good. So
They all.
I think he gets back into the win column on this one for sure.
It just takes one strike, you're done. You're boom, you're knocked out. And I like protesting that. And there's the last fight we're to cover real quick. This is an intriguing fight to me. This kicks off the actual main card. So Tim Elliott versus Kai Esquera. This is Tim Elliott's first fight since 2023. Hard to believe for 2 years.
Yeah.
And there's no I don't think I've tried to look up for the past couple days why he hasn't fought. I know he had an injury in 2020 and 2018, but yeah, he hasn't fought. He's been up and down, and a year and a half since December 9th of 2023 is the last time he fought. So it's been a year and a half, and I allow Russ for a 35-year-old against a Japanese Kai Esquera who almost just lost to Pantoja in a title fight. So it's his only second UFC fight. So I don't know, man. I think Elliott's in for a long night. Yeah, it could be a quick night / long night, but I don't. I think Esker is the fresher fighter in this one.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't wonder if it was almost a situation where Asakura couldn't even like couldn't get a fight. Obviously, the UFC thinks very highly of him. His first fight being thrusted right into a title fight. I know, knowing a little bit about Tim Elliott from when he did fight on that big pay per view in December. He is a gritty, like American wrestler type of fighter, but at the same time, I mean, Asakura is he's 31. He was a champion in Ryzen. He was a highly touted prospect. You don't join the UFC and get a title fight for no reason.
Right.
I mean, granted, I think the lights of the UFC probably got to him a little bit, and he also ran into Pantoja, who is um starting to be considered as one of the best ever, if not the best ever, behind or in front of Mighty Mouse or behind him, depending on who you talk to,
Right.
In that flyweight division. So I mean, he didn't fight a slouch in his first fight for the title either, but you don't get thrust into that spot for no reason. Um, so I get the feeling if he comes in the UFC, bright lights of another big card aren't too big for him again. I think he might make quick work of Elliott, but Elliott might be trying to welcome him into the UFC and really show him something about the fact that it was a fluke that he got that win because nobody wanted, or that he got that opportunity just because nobody wanted to fight Pantoja, and he might be looking to make an example out of him.
Yeah, I I don't see Elliott keeping up 35 with Rust. I'll be totally shocked if he keeps up with this fight. And you see think he'll welcome in. I don't think he's gonna welcome. I think this might be it's 3 rounds, so I think this might be one and done maybe. I don't
I mean, yeah, I could see Kaya Sakura making quick work of him. I know
yeah.
um he's a big time striker. He has 13 KO TKO wins from Ryzen, and I mean he expected to knock out Pantoja when he fought him. Granted, Pantoja's as good as advertised for sure, but I mean he's got that punching power, and when it comes to an older Brazilian jiu-jitsu wrestling based guy that he's fighting, they can sometimes get a little chinny, and when you start to take those hits on the chin from a younger, fresher fighter that just knows how to find that he knows how to find that sweet spot, it could be done fast.
Yeah, and so we'll see. I'm going. We're both going to ask that's probably gonna be the fight that nobody expects. And Elliott's gonna somehow win. And I heard a lot of parlays, wink, wink, but we'll see.
Yeah, no kidding.
We'll see on that. And then you picked who you picking real quick pick Murphy Pico fight in the co-main for 319.
So, quite honestly, while I fell into the hype of the whole patchy mix thing, with the last UFC debut guy who was very big, very hyped up, I am going with Pico again. I think when it's striker versus striker, the more technical guy is going to win. I know Lerone Murphy is highly touted. He's starting to get up there in the rankings. It's going to be a tough test. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to be one of those war type of fights. But I do like Aaron Pico. There's been a lot of talk about his boxing and how great he really is. And I think he's looking to show and prove that he deserves a high end fight after this one. And uh, I feel like it's tough to be an undefeated fighter, especially when you're not in a title shot. Lerone Murphy's 18-0-1, and he's not in a title picture right now. So I think that that might show you something on either the level of competition that he's fighting or what the UFC thinks of him. Now, granted, he's getting to welcome in a really good fighter in Aaron Pico, but I think Aaron Pico gets that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really seen Murphy fight in a while. Pico's coming in first fight. Dana knows something. He knows how to pick him. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Murphy. I think close, but I think Murphy with his Pico might be lights might like you said might be too bright for Pico down the line. But yeah, I'm going Murphy. Probably knowing me, I'll probably change when we watch Saturday. But I'm going Murphy. That's yeah. I don't. That's I don't know. It's hard to pick when you don't when you want to pick a fighter where he's got a good background, been in Bellator. It's only 28, 8 knockout wins compared to 34-year-old. So that's gonna be interesting to see. But I'm gonna go with Murphy for now to win that fight. So
I mean, yeah, and that's the only one that we really disagreed on, but I feel like that one could go any way, especially when you're talking striker versus striker. Like you said earlier, it only takes one.
takes one, and to kind of make the crowd go crazy in Chicago. So it should be Chicago's always a great fight city, so we're excited to watch that on Saturday night, 3/19, 10 o'clock Eastern, ESPN Plus pay per view. So, well, episode 2 under our belt. How'd you feel?
I think it was great. I think there was we had definitely had a big Monday. Again, football's back, so there's only going to be more to talk about as the preseason rolls on. And as we get closer to the regular season, things are starting to get into full swing. I appreciate all you guys for tuning into episode 2. I know there's only going to be more and more to talk about. Again, like and subscribe, leave a comment for us. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, based on our opinions and kind of how the show went, and we can only go from there. And again, a big shout out to Brandon and his hiring event.
Yep.
If you guys are looking for work in the area, by all means, stop up there. That'd be important for them, and you never know what you could reach at in a career like that. So, huge shout out to them. Huge shout out to all the listeners, and huge shout out to you, Kyle, for another week in the books.
Hey, right back at you. And as Mark said, please like and subscribe. We appreciate the support from last week, and we appreciate support for this week. As also Brandon, our guy, keep going, my guy. We're excited to listen to some stories. I know you've told me some stories from the other stores you've worked at, and they've been kind of, some have been kind of comical, and some have kind of been like just letting you vent and all that. But we're excited for you on the journey, bro. So keep going, and we're excited to hear if hopefully if you're listening, hopefully you'd be like, oh, you heard it on here. That'd be a nice little compliment to us, but. Not to our own horn or anything, but yeah, we're next week we're doing picks for college football. We will recap some UFC. Mark will talk, I'm sure, in the coming days about what we want to do. But yeah,
Yeah, of course.
we're signing off. Kyle, Mark, thanks for listening, everybody. Remember, like, subscribe. We will see you next Wednesday on another edition of the Final Whistle.